And welcome to the Naked WordPress, and in this video we're going to be covering creating a snapshot and then restoring your website should the worst thing happen, or if you need to up your resources. In other words, you need more CPUs, more memory, then this is for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Compute Engine, down to Snapshots. And then, because we've not got one yet, create a snapshot. Right, where snapshots work as well is this. It's on how much memory you use and not how many snapshots you have. So if you've got, say, one snapshot of 1 gigabyte or 5 snapshots of 200 megabytes, then that will come out at the same price. And why you'd have more, and then choose your source disk. We're using Mat1 for now, a description if you want to. But like I was just saying a moment ago, why it comes out like that is when you do your first backup at snapshot, as we'll do in a minute, say if your site's a gigabyte, it'll be like, right, 1 gigabyte. And then if you do further snapshots, it only then adds to that first one. So if you've done 200 megabytes and you want to do a backup, so you've got your gigabyte and you do another snapshot, you'll see it arrive as 200 megabyte. So don't panic thinking, how was that backup? Way less than that. It's just adding to it. And like we say, all your billing is done on how many gigabytes you use rather than how many snapshots you create to make that gigabyte, for instance. If you want to have a look at pricing and that's all about. It's easy enough to find. It can take a moment because I think this site is about, at the minute, 1.5 gigabytes or something. And at the moment, it's only really basic, as you can see. It was just that from when I had Elementor. So as soon as Elementor goes into play, these will come out into Elementor style. So we've got a padlock and everything in the domain. And for the Puritans, let's see what it scores on GT Metrix. When I say Puritans, I mean those who are always looking at the scores. Let's see what we got there, 95 and 83. Right, so let's test again. Let's see if a snapshot has completed. It has, so we can see it's 1.23 gigabyte. So then also, if you are looking at, say, you've put up a plugin, and it's happened to us all, I'm sure it's happened to me several times. You put up a plugin, you have the white screen of death conflict. Right, rather than having to mess about restoring your website, what you'd do is you'd have your website set up with FileZilla, for instance, FTP, and then you can just navigate your way through down to your plugins folder and delete the offending plugin and see if that first fixes your site before you go to the lengths of restoring. So as we see, 95, 63, we haven't got any sort of caching plugins up or anything like that, fully loaded that. So without further ado, let's see. Now, to create the snapshot, the backup, what we need to first do again is go back to Compute Engine, go to VM Instances, and then the one that's the actual website, we're now going to delete this. This can take anywhere 5 minutes or so, so I'm going to pause and just set up FileZilla while that happens, so I'll be back in a second. Right, I'm just going to show you FileZilla. It's your FTP, so as you can see, use the WP admin, WP content, all that. I've taken out my username there because it saves me just blurring it. So if I was to try and click my way through, it's going to fail to connect. It won't be able to directory listing or whatever, or fetching, or there you go, retrieving directory. But there's plenty of videos that I've set this up, and it's a really good idea because if you think, all right, in WP admin, I'll set up WP file manager, but then if you have a plugin that does cause a conflict, you're not necessarily going to be able to get into WP admin to deactivate that plugin, even though I believe since WordPress 5.3 there's a feature now where if your site does suffer a conflict or a crash, you get a notification, and there's a link in there what brings you into like a safe part of your WP admin, and then you'll be able to access your plugins through there. So like we said, there's there's a couple of things to try before you just resort to backup. Backup is, like we say, even if FTP can't solve it for you, or if, like we say, all of a sudden you're getting really busy and you need to go from a shared vCPU wherever to a to your own or to 2 CPUs and 5 GB of memory or whatever. Right, so I'll show you again because you might not have done FTP before. So what you do is you put in your IP address here, which we get in the DNS. You're sure you've gone through by now. Then you'll get a username. And what you have to use for this, you download a program called Putty Key Generator. Let's just have a quick look. Putty Key, see what happens there. Use PuttyGen on Windows, so ssh.com. And then we download it from here. What I'll do is I'll put a link to the PuttyGen in the description so you can click straight through. So at the top of it, I think maybe there, look, Putty download. Let's have a look. Download Putty installation. So it's maybe that one. I've already downloaded it myself. There we go. You choose whether you want a 64-bit or any. And there's all the instructions there how to do all that. But we'll not worry about that for the moment. If you don't know how to set up FTP, I would say there's quite a few good videos on there. Right, so that instance is deleted, as we can see. So another thing to quickly check is we're going to see that we have an IP address that is not attached to anything now because we've deleted it. So as we can see this here, this is a normal IP address for rentmydrive.co. So now we're going to go back to snapshots, computer engine, down to snapshots. Get rid of that for now, get rid of that, get rid of that. Back here. Right, so with this snapshot now, click on that and then create instance. And for the purpose of this video, I'll just call this RMD recovered. I'm going to choose my region to be in London because I'm in Ramsgate in Kent. Look it up on Google Maps, beautiful coastal seaside town. Lucky me. Right, and then we want to allow HTTP, allow HTTPS. If you want to, you can change it here to a SSD, which is a better disk, but for the purposes of this, I'm not bothering about that. If you are, you can just change it. Again, remember to tick those two, have a quick check. Named it, we've regioned it. Let's have a look. I'm going to actually drop down to the G1 small because at the minute the site's 1.5 gigabytes. That's got 1.7 gigabytes memory, and then we're going to go across Cloudflare in later lessons to distribute this across Cloudflare's content delivery network. So we just have to wait for this to populate, and then we have to go back into external IP addresses because this will get an external IP address that's no good to us. So we then jump back to external IP addresses, and we then attach the one that we used to just showed you a minute ago back to this instance, and we're good to go. As you can see here, it gives you recommendations to say increase performance. So I don't really want to start doing stuff, but when I click this, it just opens a dialog box, and what that'll do is that'll take you off, and it'll say we recommend this, you know, looking at your stats, using quite a bit of CPU, using quite a bit of memory, and then Google will want to do it for you, right? Do not have Google do it for you. Earlier on I tried it, I was literally in 21 minutes, when if I do it manually, as you see, we've got the RMD recovered now. That's got an external IP address of that, as we can see. So I'll just duplicate a tab a moment so I'll show you where we're on about. If I go back here, wait for that to load, and then down to network services, cloud DNS. We can see it rent my drive. It's that. Yeah, and at the moment, this ends with 223. So that's not good. So now we go back to here. We've got VPC network, external IP addresses. And then what we need to do now is change. Whoa, back up. As we can see here now, the one we've just created, RMD recovered, it's got an ephemeral IP address. That's no good. What we want to do now is what we've just created here, this instance, RMD recovered. We need this to go to here, which, as we can see, is our website address, Rent My Drive. Now you want to be doing this pretty quick, so like I said, don't faff about like me, and then choose it there. Look, then click OK, and what we'll see is that that will disappear in a moment. This IP address will end up, is it here or we'll see in a sec. But again, you know, this is only if, even if FileZilla doesn't work and you can't go into WP's content, then plugins and delete the offending one. So as we can see now here, look, RM recovered is pointing to that. And that's another thing. This can take a little while to populate afterwards. So let's see if it's going to find it yet. I've had it take like 2 minutes and I've had it take 2 hours, but there we go. And that, my friends, is that. That is how to restore. Like we say, if you have to restore, you know, first set up the FileZilla, as we've said, and then within here, you'll be able to click your way through, if it's WP content and it plugins, go into a plugin and say you've uploaded or auto-optimized and it's broke your site, delete it from there first, then try and reload your site and see what happens. And if that doesn't work, then we go to the recovery zone, which is, you know, pretty straightforward and pretty simple to get through. There's only a few steps, like we said. First, delete. Let's have a look at those virtual machines to see how many of these we've got going as well. You only need, there we go. So I've got one virtual machine here, which we created from being recovered, and then from the recovery, it then created it. So we had 3 with a different IP address, if you remember, like 223 at the end, I think. So then you need to go into external IP addresses, and then you need to change that one to point to that. And that is pretty much how to back up and recover your WordPress website. As always, if you've got any questions or positive comments, please feel free to leave them in the video or join us on Facebook. Thank you. Bye.